Okay, I'm just putting together some videos, touching up the Santos series as I'm going along. I got to start redoing those videos. Maybe today will be that day, but I kind of got sidetracked on some trees, some things with the trees. So later today, I'm going to do is I'm going to go in on rocks and stones, mountains and stuff like that. And I already have the research vids up under Santos series, and I'm going to pull the nanocarbon and the imagery out of these. Now the one you're looking at right here, this is supposedly a moon rock. This is a moon rock picture that I got offline. Last time I presented this particular photograph, people were pissed because I was calling it a lava rock, and they were telling me how stupid I was, that I don't know the difference between a lava rock and a moon rock. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to put filters on this later. We're going to put the lights on it, and we're going to pull all the imagery out of this, and I'll show you that it's not from anything on the moon. It's from right here with the rest of us. And then I got these as well. I have this, what you guys would probably consider some ancient magic stone, like Michael Kenneth's magic rock, you know, that's what most people would compare this to. And then I just have an average rock that you would find around your yard, average stone. And I also have several research videos online right now under the Santos series. I think it's 111 and 112 or something like that were the two biggest ones, along with trees. So I'll probably hit stones for about 4 or 5 videos and talk about the rock, stones, mountains, shit like that I was looking in on. From a large scale all the way down to a microscopic scale. We'll go all over. Last time I presented this, my camera was all fucked up because I was doing I had extensions on my phone camera. So little did I realize that I was actually looking at everything upside down. But I left the video anyway. I don't care, people, really, about the way these videos come out. If you don't understand it, whether I got it this way or that way, don't worry about it. Just go away. You're not going to understand any of it anyway. So there is no up, down, left, or right is my point. So for anybody to get upset that I'm doing this and even go through the trouble of giving me thumbs down over it, it's give me a fucking dislike. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Up, down, left, right, it's all the same anyways. That's one of the things I'm trying to show. So for me to make a mistake, have my camera fucked up because it's the extra lenses or something that did that, and it made it because I had this hanging from the ceiling. Probably can replicate it. I had it hanging from the ceiling, so when I was looking at it, I was holding this in my hand like this, and everything came out upside down. Anyways, not a big deal. I left the video anyways and left it part of the series because I don't give a shit. Anybody that was watching it would have got my point to what I was talking about. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about will get this. They may not agree with it. They may have reasons not to want to agree with it, but I'm working at this, and it's getting closer and closer and closer. Every fucking day, more and more things come to me. Go with what I see with my eyes, and it's all coming together. So for me, again, to go over this, electromagnetic nanocarbon core that goes up to Polaris starts here. Markowski resolution all around here. We cannot get there. This here, this Earth, this represents the Earth that we live on, based on the moon map model that is over there, that I'm still haven't even gone over yet. I'm figuring this shit all out. This is all coming to me every day, watching these nanocarbon, these triangulars, these 5 triangles. Every day, more and more is coming to me working on these triangles. One of the things, and I keep mentioning in my video, there is no up, down, left, or right. The periodic table is based on atomic weights. Get rid of it. It's junk. It's garbage in this system. Yes, it works in the human system the fake system. Yes, of course it does. It works there. It's unnecessary up here. For this table, it's not going to matter because up is down and left and right is no such thing, and there's no such thing as reverse and forward. There's no such thing as zeros or infinity. Not in this system. Not in the system we live in, the one we can see with our eyes. So when I'm throwing this shit out there at people as I'm going along, again, sun, not rays, not the sun's rays, the sun's connection. with the earth, okay? The sun makes its connection with the earth. We as human beings see it as rays of light, the same way we do with everything else of rays of light, flashlights, things of that nature. It's an electrical connection with everything that's here, all the animals, the creatures that walk the earth, the trees, the grass, everything, okay? This connection is made here. This is why I keep comparing it to a light bulb. How do I know this core going up here is iron? Because iron is the only magnetic metal anywhere in here, under this veil. This nanocarbon around here represents the veil that we live within, okay? I'm going to go ahead and start claiming, like some of the religions did, that why not glass? When you see the nanocarbon system and you realize that glass is made from sands, made from the same heavy metal compounds as out here, then why wouldn't it be glass? You know, why call it anything other than glass? To keep it simple for people. But then people start running to the religions. Oh, see, I was right. It says it in my Bible that... No, your Bibles are all full of shit. They give you little bits and pieces of fucking truth here and there, and to keep people chasing their tails. This we can see with our eyes. The shit they say in the Bible called a firmament, that whole thing you cannot see with your eyes. That has to remain in your imagination. Stick with what we can see, what we can prove, okay? So if this ends up being glass, and coincidentally it goes with one of the tiny little pieces of truth that you can grab from your religions, oh well, you know, because that's going to happen in a lot of places. Electromagnetic, because there's got to be iron in there as well, by the way. Iron core, iron in the veil, got to be. So no matter what, it being glass, you want to call it glass, well, we're going to call it metal now because there's iron in it. Has to be iron in it. Another one that's got to be in this one, because it's going to be in all of them, and I still haven't figured this, but neon for the colors. The neon blue sky that we see during the day when the sun makes its connection in our area. So that neon, you would think neon gas is going to rise up and hit its, because we think of this throughout our life. So we think the neon gas is going to rise till it hits its buoyancy level, density level, I should say. So it's going to reach its level and then level out, right? So that's what I'm having a hard time getting, that there is no up, down, left, or right with certain things. Gases, for example. So what I'm trying to do right now, working on this new table, is the gases before the gases, when they're just a solid heavy metal. So I'm going from a solid to a liquid, in other words clouds, so they go from a solid, turn them into the liquids and gases as they goes up. So that would account for them being everywhere, you know what I mean? So that, because that's one of the things I'm going to have trouble with. If anybody else comes aboard on all this, I'm sure people can figure this out a lot faster than I can. But I'm just going by what I'm showing every day. Every day something else comes to me, so as I'm going along, I'm pointing it out. Same reason why I'm pointing out about the trees, because people are going to see me coming down heavy on the trees. And I'm going to try to explain why. I'm already at 8 minutes, and I'm going to try to explain why I'm coming down so hard on these trees right now. So the sun makes its connection to the earth. So Father, I'm just calling it this way. I don't know if anybody else does. I don't even remember if the geocentrics do or not. I don't know. To Polaris, the iron core to Polaris, okay? Markowski resolution keeps us away from there. You would call this the North Pole. Santa Claus is over here somewhere, okay? This outer ring out here, this outer ring, that's this outer ring on the moon map model represents the run of the veil. That's where the veil runs. But on the AE map model and other flat Earth models, you're only getting half of this circumference. You're just going to get like this much of it. In other words, your 25,000 mile circle that you think when you put it on an AE map, I don't have it drawn out, but if you understand what I'm saying, you're only going to get half of this, because on the moon map model, there is half of this that we don't get to. So this whole other half, we never get to over here. We're never told about it. It's where everybody, Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe, everybody, all the Prince is over there, all the die-offs, Amy Winehouse is over here getting fucked up with, whoever. You know, and they probably live longer. I got all kinds of fantasies about what could possibly be going on the other side compared to what we do on our side. But this is the way it breaks down anyway. Back to the sun. So the sun makes its connection to this earth, gets grounded, and then instead of, now our eyes see the moon as a light coming from the moon. They tell you in heliocentric bullshit stories that the sun is rays are bouncing off the moon and then back down to earth. So not only are you seeing the light in the moon with your eyes, but you're also seeing the light when you look around on the ground here. So in other words, that reflection has to come from the sun. So you don't see the rays coming from the sun to the moon. You don't see that, never. But what you do see is all of a sudden, magically, somehow, because the moon must be made out of mirrors, because it throws a reflection back down on the earth and lights up the earth, okay? According to the heliocentric model. Provably nonsense by everything I just said right there. It's already nonsense. Let alone the way the light is when you see a daytime moon, the top half of the moon is lit up, and there's all kinds of proof, easy evidence for the zombies to wake up and look and say, wait a minute, how, in the daytime, how does it have to, okay, we buy the story at night, because you say it's the moon, you know, you're getting the shadow from the earth is being cast on the moon, and we get that. But how do we get the top half of the moon during the day when the sun's fucking right there and the moon's right here? Your story makes no sense anymore. We're done with you. Goodbye. We don't do that. Oh, okay, we say, okay, let's continue to teach this nonsense in our schools. Back to my story. So now that I know about this nanocarbon and the connection that the area we call the sun, this hole in the veil we call the sun, made up of its own heavy metals being taken around in the veil based on its own heavy metal values, is making a connection. Now, all the power that powers all this, I still believe is behind this veil, and the shape of it, I believe, is more shaped like what I'm doing here. I hate to say it. I hate saying the word egg. I don't like using the word egg in my model. Too many stereotypes about the word egg, but I don't have any other word for it. Anyways, the power system outside, I don't want to get into. I have no evidence that it is outside. It might all be being done right inside here. And I'll explain why I believe that now too. Because I used to think that outside this so-called firmament in the religious, what I'm calling a veil, beyond this veil was the power system, like similar to Brian Austin Lambert's theory, and again a lot of other religions. But when I start simplifying all this, okay, back to the carbon. Sun makes its connection to the earth. Now we see this light in the moon our own ways. Like I said, I just explained the heliocentric. Now let's explain the geocentric. The geocentric believes that that light is coming from the moon, from within the moon, like myself. That's what I always, and I still to this day, even now, I'm going to explain to you, it's not, but I'm still going to see it that way because I'm human. I'm a human being. So even though I know now, I'm like 99% sure on this now, that light is not coming from the moon. It's connection. It's a connection. Just like a light bulb. That's what I'm going to keep saying now. Now that I'm going to go forward. I don't know if it'll change, but right now, this is what I'm going to keep comparing to. A light bulb. So, the connection comes down to the earth, goes back up, makes its connection again. What we see in the moon represents what is here that we walk on. That's why the moon map model. That's why the moon map model, in the way that it's dread. I should have plugged it all in and had it all ready, but I'm not. This is not the point of this video, anyways. So the moon's going around and staying with what it's seeing. It's not seeing its connection. It's staying with its connection as it goes around. Now this is our side. This is the other side. So this side may seem a little bit bigger to you when you're looking at this, but it's really not because of the cutoff point. This ring here, I should just do this real quick. Santos Bonacci. This I did this in other videos. I showed this, but I'm going to go over it quickly. Okay, this line coming through here represents the Markowski resolution. It keeps us away from the north. Always has on this moon map model. This circle here, this one out here, represents the Antarctic Treaty. All this other area on the moon map model is the area that we cannot get to. We're not allowed to go anywhere past this line. That's why I like the moon map model. Now, this may have to be flipped because when I made this moon map model, I was basing it on a whole different ball game and perception of reflections and refractions, and it's not like that. That's not what it is. So I'm going to have to definitely change the land layout in order to make this happen. But that's typical. It's a process. So now that I'm figuring this out, now I know it's not a reflection of the Earth. It's a connection to. So the power actually is going back up. That's the way this is going. So that's why I'm saying I think there's going to be evidence that all the power does not come from outside the veil. The power is going to come from in here, and it's a constant power source, kind of like a light bulb. And that's what I keep comparing it to, because when you look inside the light bulbs, okay, this one here I believe is halide. Then these ones here are mercury vapors. We can see the different colors, and this is my accusation, Santos, to our system, to the zombies that we are. Each age is brought on by whatever it is we're smelting. So this also has to do with whatever we're smelting at the time, whatever we're putting back into the system from the hard stone, whatever heavy metals we take from this hard stone and put them into our bodies and into the system, from the hard stone to liquids and to gases. Okay, so we're like I was saying before, and I keep saying, electromagnetic current is the creator of wind is an effect of electromagnetic current. Pressure is an effect of electromagnetic current. The particles that are driving it all are these mercuries, these halides, all these different vapors, just like inside of a light bulb. Okay, so down here where we live at the base of the light bulb, this is what just coming to me in the last few days, and so far I'm just going with the flow from what I'm finding, And when I'm figuring out the shit about the trees have never been here before. I can't find any tree evidence, no serious evidence of trees, and I mean this is really fucked up because it's so easy to prove, and people still are in denial of it, that it just gets added right to my list of holy fuck, I can't believe everybody's so fucking dumb, they won't look. They refuse to look, and they make up all these excuses to why this cannot be. So this base, let's say in these particles that are in here, right, a crack forms, fungus gets inside the light bulb, disease grows inside the light bulb. Maybe the crack happens from down here, a bunch of rust starts building up around the base. We've seen this happen to light bulbs, haven't we, people? We sure have. We've seen it happen to our car batteries. We see, our copper pipes in our house. You look at the copper pipes that have lead and aluminum solder around the joints, and you'll see corrosion building up, all right? So down here on the ground, there is a possibility for some cracking around the base, okay? So if that little bit of cracking around the base is going to allow fungus and shit to get inside the light, now the light's going to start turning a little bit bio. It's going to start getting a little bit bio because now bio things are getting inside the bulb. Whatever bio you want to start out with, whatever organs or organic, as small as your mind will possibly let you go, to the point of, something that you would need a hydron fucking telescope to look in at, okay? You'd have to go to NASA in order to get this thing, in order to see this particle that small, okay? So these particles get inside the light bulb and they build up at the base. Now over time, these funguses start to grow. Hence the trees, the grass, all the other creatures that are not even based on the original particles, okay? These original particles that this bulb started out with were feline, canine, ape, rodent, human, and beast, okay? How bio they were when they all started out, I wonder. That's what I'm right now trying to put together, and I'm wondering. Because the imagery that we're seeing from the veil to the ground is feline, canine, ape, rodent, human, and beast. I got the nanocarbon. These triangular shapes, they're easy to figure out in this light bulb theory, okay? In this light bulb model that I'm presenting here to you now. So maybe I'll throw more models at you as I go along. So these triangular shapes are easy to understand because we can just look at the little particles floating around when I turn these lights on, and you're going to understand what I'm saying. These ones are going to be like a bluish white to our eyes. Now plants see these colors differently, by the way. And then these ones here are going to be a little more orangey. So when they first fire up, and if you notice, you look inside the filaments, you see mother down there, the base, father, big rod sticking right up the middle, and you see sun. And then inside there are all these gases. Okay, these are pressurized bulbs too, by the way. They do have a considerable amount of pressure as well. Okay, so that's my representation. So down here at the base where we live, okay, electrical creatures 4,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago, we were very electrical. As the rust built up, this crack around the seam of the bulb gets bigger and bigger. I've been noticing, and what I call the veil being lifted for the last 12 years. Every night you can go out if you live in see, the other day I had this upside down, and it was actually easier to even work with last week. Because another thing is I just scribbled in some lines. I don't have any representation of any land to walk on. Fucking whatever. So, anyways, we can look at these light bulbs just as an idea as we're looking at this, because to me it seems to be working in a very similar way. So the sun is not rays, actual electrical connection to the earth. Electrical connection always there. It's not like at nighttime we die. We don't die at nighttime. We just go to sleep. So the earth is carrying that same connection no matter where we are. We can walk to the dark side. Well, if they allowed us to go to the other side of this particular model, they don't. We're not allowed over there. But or wherever, or over here I should say, or whatever. Anyways, so again, connection to the earth, connection, not reflection, connection to the moon. Now the star, same thing goes with the stars and everything like that. I'm just representing it this way. I mentioned it the other day. I didn't draw arrows going all over to these stars, even that are in our daytime sky at certain times that we can't see. We have to take NASA's word on it, or whoever. We have to take their word on it because our telescopes can't even see past it. But okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'll take everybody. Oh, you can see one of them. It's so bright. What is that one? Oh, is it Venus? I don't remember. So one of the wandering stars, what most people call planets, you can see at a certain time of day and stuff like that. So we know they're there, is my point. So this connection does go back up to them as well. They're just not being represented, and I don't know how they're represented. That'll be for Santos, like I keep saying, or one of his students, or somebody else that can pick up on this and just say, oh yeah, okay, yep, bing, bang, boom, I get it, boom. And then they're going to have to go see some things with their eyes. But once you start looking at what I'm showing you, you see it with your eyes, no problem. So here we go. So through the ages, so we wanted to change things through the ages. So how do we do it? Well, we're really dumb fucking slaves, man. So we just go along with all the programming. So when we wanted to go from the golden age, we just simply changed the heavy metals that we were smelting. And then we went on to a bronze age, copper age, brass age, silver age. We had different ages. Some of them were smaller than others were larger. Some of them got propagandized to be more important than others, but they're all just as important. So we at some point went from all these ages, and I don't have the other bulbs set up for it yet, but picture some LED lights. Do I have LED? I do. Wait a minute. Here's the no, those are CFLs. Okay, even CFLs and LEDs, same thing, throwing off a different type of light. And then we can go to an LED light, no gases in there. This is, now we're talking synthetics. Okay, but now we're talking synthetics that are holding heavy metal magnetic values, right? To get the LEDs, because LEDs are not bulbs. Everybody knows that, right? So there's just these little fucking white cushions of, I don't know, ask an electrician, they'll explain it. So all I'm telling you is the imagery that we see is different. It changes things, it changes shadows, it changes personalities, it changes a lot of shit to the plant, to all life down here on this area that we walk, okay? So, anyways, this stuff is really easy to see and really easy to understand when you start thinking about it this way. No, I'm not making claims that we are living in a light bulb. I'm just using the similarities. Because, again, saying that we live in a light bulb is just like saying we live in an egg. It's not going to be taken properly by anybody, so it's not terminology or wording that I want to go throwing around. But it does help you understand these connections between these things, right? The what I'm calling mother, father, son, and not reflection of, but connection of mother. And I guess that would be if you want to throw some more femininity into it, you can say the stars and the moon are, the daughter. You could word it that way, or the moon at least is the daughter. I don't know. Maybe the stars representing all other offspring. Something else while I'm at this point right now, as I'll say to Santos, is that I said it. I think in the first 3 videos that I made in this series. Back in the old days, during the geocentric model, for the first 2,000 years after this veil was built, people were looking up into the night sky. I'm assuming the night sky anyway, and they were seeing all these images holding inanimate objects, which threw me off for a long time too. And I just never understood that before. And I could, even though I liked the astrology, and I did like the way that you could watch things actually work according to the stars and according to astrology. It's not just a big gimmick. We've just turned it into a gimmick and a joke. But in all actuality, we all have a connection among us. I can explain that connection with. I have a strong connection with the masses, with everyone. At least that's in my mind, in my head. If I'm the only one holding this connection and the other 6.8 billion people out there are zombified and they don't understand that connection, they're not going to get it. They're not going to feel my energy, right? Just like sometimes if you're a little more eccentric and you're I'm not saying eccentric people are always correct about things, not at all, because eccentric people are wrong about all their religions and all their other shit, so they're wrong about a lot of things, but they're not afraid to go that extra step, to step outside the box of what people would consider normal or acceptable, and they would go outside the box and say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go look with my own fucking eyes, and if it makes more sense what this asshole saying about this and the sun, yeah, I'm going to go look into that. The temperature being different from the moon. I'll just say, remember, when you're standing here on Earth, we're human beings. We've been programmed all our life to think of this light coming down on us as rays from the moon. The moon's rays, the sun's rays. They're not. And maybe still difficult to understand because I'm telling you the connection comes this way from the sun, but goes back up that way to the moon. So you may be saying, well, if it's going that way, why ain't the light coming off the Earth and going back? Well, Brian Austin Lambert mentioned that. It does. Brian Austin Lambert's model, there's certain things about it that I love. And he mentions that. When he talks about the veil being lifted, major catastrophe, because outside the power source was going to ground and you never knew where it was going to ground, and it was going to fuck everything up, and it was going to be a reset button. I think it already passed. I don't know. You had to pay like $2-3 to find out what the deadline was. That's one of the things that threw me off about Brian, was when he did weird shit like that. But anyway, back to the real story here that I'm seeing here. So this thing coming around the sun, coming around and keeping its connection with this earth, and that we walk on grounded, makes all perfect sense. The iron core working with the iron in the veil coming around all makes perfect sense. The power source In other words, all these heavy metals that we walk on, that we call the earth, all filled with all these heavy metals. We're the ones that fucking smelt them. No, if the human beings didn't touch all these heavy metals that are all over this earth, we would not be rusty like we are now. We would not be all rusty. We're the assholes. We are the dumbed down zombie slaves that do not fucking pay attention. And at some point in our history, we said, you know what? Let's just fucking start digging around down here and smelt these heavy metals. I can make some nice necklaces. I can make some shit, which is a big concern to me when I do think about all the religious shit, because, I mean, this all had to start somewhere. Some asshole had to have the great idea to go ahead and start smelting and making things out of these metals, you know, to go through these ages every time and stuff like that. So we started rusting and damaging our base, the heavy metal that we lived on. And at the same time, as we were smelting these to make things out of metal, what would happen? Up in the atmosphere would go all of the fucking heavy metals from down there, right? So that's going to change in the ages. So then the one age is going to turn into another age, because now we're not smelting gold and brasses and coppers over the last 1,500, let's say, years, or 900 years. We're not doing so much of that anymore. We have all the gold bricks we need. We got them in storage. We got all the other gold mountains all tied up. Nobody can get to them because we got so many laws and restrictions from them. So gold is all tied up, and let's go on to the next age. Hence, on comes the next generations of Bushes and Clintons and fucking Obamas and all the other, now Trump and all this shit for our country, just for our country. But if you look across the entire earth, it's been like this the whole earth over. One fuck show after another, you know, and all lies, all surrounded by lies, you know. And you can't get around the lies, because you'll end up arguing with your family, your friends, your loved ones, because they all are programmed to believe this nonsense. You try to tell anybody about, oh, you know what, it's all bullshit. What do you mean it's all bullshit? Yeah, it's all bullshit. Everything you just fucking said is a fucking lie. Are you trying to say the Holocaust didn't happen? You're one of those Holocaust deniers? Now you got to get into this big, long fucking argument. You have to stay calm, because you want to get your point across, so you got to stay fucking calm. You can't just get to the point and say, listen, you fucking moron, go look at the evidence for yourself, because every one of those Holocaust fucking things, pictures that you go find, go look around in the backgrounds. People are supposed to be dead on the ground. You see them with big smiles on their face. You see another one supposed to be dead, but you can tell they're halfway lifted up, that they're getting off the ground. It's supposed to be a pile of bodies. I'm not saying bad things didn't happen. I'm saying everything is programmed. So no matter what, then we got into the discussion. This is the other day, a Zombie Street interview. And I told him I was doing a Zombie Street interview while we were talking, so he knew. And he was a very nice guy about it, and I was being nice about things too. So, but I am a fast talker, and I'm going to get my point across when you're going to tell me bullshit stories. So, the funny thing about the Zombie Street interviews is that people are offered the truth, just kind of like I'm doing here with the videos. You know, same thing. I'm offering the truth to people. They could go out and see this for themselves. So anyone can go see this for themselves, but they won't. They'll just argue every fucking thing down the line. So, and debate, if you want to call it. If it don't get to a heated argument, it's at least a debate. You don't ever win any of the debates. All you can do is just throw the shit into their mind, so it's in their conscious mind. But it's just amazing. You can show them the evidence and tell them, here, you can go see this for yourselves. Here's an EMNC box. You can look right up. They're all around me right now. I can show you in the trees, the ground, whatever. I can show you. As long as you're not afraid, I can show you. And they just go on with their conversations. Yeah, but Japan, Japan just landed on the moon. And the things that you're saying don't make any sense because, Neil Armstrong, I know my mother bought a fucking lava rock that looked just like the moon rock. And we were confused and didn't know what it was. Yeah, exactly. So everybody, that's why I call that a fucking lava rock. Because it doesn't even matter. They're so full of shit. They lie about everything. So now I see the imagery when I just walk up to these stones, people. It won't take long at all. It don't take long. I haven't got any light on here. I don't have no filters on here. Boom, it's banging with imagery. Just a random fucking moon rock that they claim is a moon rock. But it doesn't matter because it's the same thing with any fucking rock, any stone. I can go in them from these ancient magic stones, these fucking little fly things, man. I gotta get some fly trap. Yeah, same thing everywhere. So, anyways, back to what I was saying, so I can wrap up this video. It's already 34 minutes. Where did I wander off to? The light bulb. So the idea that I call it a veil. I call it a veil because the word egg is not going to blow over. It's that simple, really. Otherwise, as far as the shape of this whole thing goes, I would say it's shaped like an egg, right? Okay. The way that it all works and the idea, now that when I'm learning about the trees as well, because we're all got everything backwards. We got everything backwards. You have to keep that in mind. So maybe there is a benefit to the tree thing, but on a bio scale, if we want our power back and we want to get our power back, the trees are outgrown us. The trees have outgrown us all over. They're sapping up everything. It's sapping up all of the energy. So not only do they sap up a lot of the clean water, because their roots will go down so far for the clean waters. So they're sapping up all our clean water, so we have to pay for dirty, poison water from everywhere, all over this earth. Probably not on this side, but on our side, for sure. Obviously, because that's right in front of us all the time. So they've tricked us into thinking that the trees were our best buddies, and at one time this earth was so filled with trees, and there was so many fucking trees, and then the humans came in and destroyed everything, and now you got to pay a carbon tax because oh my god, man, it's all backwards. It's the other way around. The trees, the grass, the lawns, the flowers, all to a certain extent. I mean, you got to remember, we're taller than most flowers. We're taller than bushes. So, I mean, there should be an exception to trees being here. There should be, there should be an accepting of, I should say, of trees being here with us. I mean, just like obviously all the other animals that are not represented in the system. Because if the system is feline, canine, ape, rodent, human, and beast, from the veil to the ground, it's provable. It's in every fucking stone, every rock, every flower, every fire, every cloud, the moon, the veil itself. You can easily see that for yourselves. It's already been 9 months for me, going on 10 now, and I'm seeing more and more every day. It's easier to see. It's feline, canine, ape, rodent, human, and beast. These are the 5 culprits. These 5 triangular shapes are the 5 triangular shapes that nanocarbon like to run in, so you can see them for yourself. It's obvious why we're able to see their shapes. If there was no reason, then they'd come in circles and squares and really confuse the fuck out of everyone. And I wouldn't even have a chance to prove any of this to you because I have evidence. You can go out and see the evidence for yourself. Look for these triangular shapes. You think it's that big of a coincidence that if you see a circle or a square somewhere, you go and look in at it with your camera and you go in deep on shit and you can say, holy shit, that circle's made up of a bunch of little triangles. Oh, wow. You can see it with your own fucking eyes. From the fucking veil to the ground. Easy to do. So, now I had a chance to go over this again. Hopefully it's right side up this time. Thank you to the couple people that mentioned to me that it was a bad video. And I'll try not to do that again. But yeah, compared to a light bulb. So here I am. I'm going to now be, comparing it to a light bulb. And that's going to, again, offend people. And people will get upset. They have all the religions in their mind. But if you look at that, even that light bulb is kind of shaped like an egg. So, I don't know. If you got to keep your gods or space aliens or whatever in it, then okay. So then your god or your space alien invented a light bulb and stuck us all in it? No, I doubt it. More likely, whatever it is we do live in, who's ever is created it, the one and all creator, if it's one and all creator, it sure to hell works just like a light bulb. So you got to remember, that said, the base that we live on is all fucking rusted. It's all rusted and rotted out. Think about it. And we did it. We did it because we're so fucking dumb. We were all the trees. Oh, we're killing the trees. The poor fucking and myself included. Liberal douchebag me. Same fucking thing. I'm a liberal douche, or at least I was. So I know now I'm not anything anymore. Now I'm just an independent. Independent who broke his program is what I consider myself now. People, this is easy to see. We can see this. So, if the whole ground down here is all filled with these heavy metals, that would make the heavy metal base. Now, again, connection. Sun comes around, makes its connection, just like a fucking light bulb. So the part of the veil turning might be the whole thing of keeping everything running by the veil turning, the stars and everything going around as they do, the wandering stars doing what they do. That's again all Santos, Martin Kenny, people like that know what all that's doing. And the only thing I can add to their models is the fact that the movement is all based on their heavy metal makeup. That's all. That part I can help them prove to themselves. But as far as where it all goes and the timing of it all, nah. I got little bits and pieces of timing from watching the wind over the years and shit. What I thought was wind. Now I know wind is just an byproduct of electromagnetic current. It's like everything else. It's just amazing. We go through all of this and the neurological system. When I researched the neurological system, it was the same shit. The neurological system worked the same way this entire system works. And I started realizing that as I was going along. In other words, they tell us that the brain does all the thinking and that we only use 10% of the brain and blah, blah. No, it's a bunch of bullshit. The brain is nothing more than a memory capsule. So if you fill it with false memories and you fill the brain with false memories, then that's it. You took the programming, and that's how I came across the mirror neuron and the mirror neuron manipulator, because I wanted to know how that was happening. How were so many humans able to lie to themselves? How were we able to bypass this mirror neuron if we were not all, supposedly psychopaths? Because only psychopaths and maybe egomaniacs have no mirror neuron. They have no empathy. They not for themselves or for others. What I found was that we're all hiding in the hoarding gene. So the hoarding gene is not at all the hoarding gene. The hoarding gene is really, in reality, called a mirror neuron manipulator. So the mirror neuron manipulator and the 240,000 strands related to it, because I looked it up, it wasn't 24,000, it was 240,000. So I was too low the last time I was talking about this. So that 240,000 some odd strands is all related to us being liars, lying to ourselves. We have to, because we'd be crying all the time for all the fucking stupid shit we do. So we have to lie to ourselves. All of our intelligence is in the neurological system. The brain is only holding memory. There's shit in the brain so false memories, easy to implant, fuck up our heavy metals at birth with injections, and then start dumping our shit into our food right away. Throw a bunch of shit to rot our guts, to fuck up our livers, so that the most important part of our body that actually carries on all these heavy metals and makes sure that these heavy metals are properly balanced, our liver, and then backup, our gallbladder is the backup for the liver, totally all jacked up by the time we're in our late teens. By the time we're in our late teens, just from the vaccinations through the McDonald's process, I'll use as an example, but you know what I mean, all garbage food, so all junk food. Most of the food that we eat, we don't even need. Turned it into 3 meals a day. All we really needed was a little bite here and there. We are energy. We are energy species. We are energy creatures. We think that we're all bio, and that's what we believe. We were told that the heart pumps the blood, but it's not the heart that pumps the blood. No, it's actually the electrons inside the oxygen and the oxygen inside the blood that makes your blood flow. We are all part of the same fucking system that I'm showing you here. It all works the same. So when this sun comes down and we think of it, the sun's rays. No, the sun makes a connection. If we happen to be standing right here as this connection comes into us, we also are energized the same way that everything else is energized as this connection comes through. When we're in the dark side, we still have a connection. We're standing on the earth. We're still grounded, even with the rubber sole shoes, but they, slow it down a little. Everything we do makes it a little harder. get rid of the fucking hair follicles, fuck up our neurological system to the point where we don't accept the electromagnetic current as it's hitting us. We pull out our wisdom teeth. We take our wisdom teeth out, so we're not even able to hear certain sound resonance that would make us feel better and add benefits to our health. Instead of cutting our wisdom teeth and trimming them so that the pain goes away, no, pull them out. Pull them out so that the teeth... People with dental implants, you might get lucky, and if they go down right in the same place that your wisdom teeth were, and they jack right into that same area, the neurological group will reattach to that metal rod, and you'll be back in business. You might be part of the awakening as well. I'll mention that. If you still have your wisdom teeth, you also might pick up to some of these things. You'll see them easier, let's put it that way, and you'll hear things that you didn't hear before. Don't think that the dentist did something wrong. He actually did you a favor. You'll hear certain sound resonance that you didn't hear before, because that's the way it comes through. We have changed everything over to a more bio system. We are over to silvers, whites, all these synthetic shit now that's going around. So it's making for a very bad time. That makes for all the bad time. You know, the over-sex thing, the... bad people in society, all the lies, all the bullshit stories being 10 times worse than I know what a mess, right? 10 times worse than everything else before, you know? So again, you picture a nice clean light bulb base, you know, a little crack, a little rust forms in there, a little bit of rust forms, and after a little bit of rust forms in there, then next thing you know, gets worse and worse and worse. Crack opens up, and that's what we're seeing in my east and my west is the opening, what I keep calling the veil lifting. So the rust is probably getting worse. We're fucking up the pressures by changing these heavy metals. So therefore, when I look out every night in my east and in my west, now it's coming around a little bit more in my south on both sides. It's coming around a little bit further into the south. And but every night it's a guarantee. So in your east and in your west, I mean, I got this point the wrong way, but if I was... Yeah, here. Where am I? There. So, yeah. So, you know, I'm over there. So, to my entire east, my entire west. I know why I don't see it in the north, because I'm too close to the Markowski resolution. So, of course, I'm not going to see past this core. Even though this, don't picture a solid